Hello and welcome. My name's Angie Holden and I'm the blogger behind The Country Chic Cottage. So humidity has a direct effect on sublimation, and we're going to talk about some of those effects today. So if you're having trouble with your sublimation printer and think humidity might be a factor, this is definitely the video for you. Just having trouble with sublimation printing, don't know what the cause is, you might want to watch this video and make sure that humidity is not playing a role. Now, humidity can fluctuate in your home with the seasons. So right now there's probably increasing humidity in a lot of areas in the United States especially, and I'm seeing more and more people ask me questions that I think relate back to humidity. So like all of a sudden your printer starts acting up, all of a sudden your printer starts doing this and it never has before. Let's check the humidity. So first, how do you check the humidity in your home? You just get a very inexpensive gauge, so this one does temperature and humidity, and just keep it in your craft room. So I just keep it in my craft room, seeing what the humidity is in the space. Now, for human comfort level, like 40 to 60% humidity is generally what's comfortable for the average person. For sublimation printing, probably 40 to 50% is optimal, so a little bit drier. And even if you're in like 30 to 50%, you would probably be okay with sublimation. Now, when you get into higher humidities or even lower humidities, you can have sublimation problems. If you're at like 52% humidity, you might just want to skip correcting it for now. But be aware that if you get any higher than 52%, you could start to see some issues. Now, these little gauges are extremely inexpensive, like Amazon, a couple dollars, it was less than $10 shipped to my house. And now I can keep an eye on that humidity in my space throughout the seasons and kind of see what's happening in my space itself. Then, if I'm seeing some of the issues, we're going to go over the issues in a minute, but if I'm seeing some of those issues, I can either add humidity with a humidifier, or I can take humidity away with a dehumidifier. So you can control that humidity in your space. Now, you might want it for your entire home, because controlling the humidity in just one room without it being blocked off from the rest of the house would be a little bit difficult. So you might want to correct it over your entire home, or at least in like my craft space is on the second floor, so I might want to correct it for the entire second floor. In fact, I've been moving this little gauge around and the humidity in each room seems to be slightly different. So it is a little more humid in this space right now than it is, say, downstairs in my kitchen currently. So you might want to move the little gauge around, test the humidity in various areas, and see which is the most humid and least humid. Then you can think about storage. Where do you put your printer? What room do you put it in? What's the humidity in that room? Do you put it close to a fan, which can be drying the printer out? Do you put it close to an AC vent, air intake? Also can be drying the printer out. So things like that might make the humidity different exactly where the printer sits rather than in the entire room. So take a look at where your printer is located as well. Then we want to talk about the humidity of storage of blanks and paper. So first of all, paper. You always want to store it in the original packaging, in the original box. Never store it in your printer. Humidity and paper do not mix at all at any time of the year. Do not store the paper in your printer. Be sure to store it in the original packaging and in optimal humidity if possible. Same with your blanks. If you can keep those nice and dry and even do that pre-press. I always talk about the pre-press, like on things like shirts, to make sure you remove any moisture or remove any humidity from the surface before you begin to press. So let's talk about what humidity can cause. So what are you seeing that might be caused by humidity? First of all, printer issues. I talked a little bit about the paper. It can actually curl up in the humidity, and when it curls up, that paper can hit your print heads. So if you're seeing black splotches of ink all over your print, like on the sides, or just spots of ink in general in random locations, that can definitely be caused by humidity. So you might want to take a look at the humidity in your space and around where your printer and paper is stored. Then the ever famous pizza wheel marks. So with a converted Epson EcoTank or even like an Epson F170, you might just all of a sudden you start getting pizza wheel marks. Generally those are caused by the ink not drying before the wheels run across the paper, which can be from humidity of either the paper or where the printer is sitting, just like we've talked about. So take a look at the humidity if you're just all of a sudden getting those pizza wheel marks on the same paper, same ink, same printer you've been using for a year, and all of a sudden they're showing up. Humidity can definitely factor into that. Then print head clogs. All of a sudden one of your printer heads isn't printing, it's not printing yellow, it's not printing blue, it's not printing black, it can definitely be caused by humidity. Humidity can make you have more clogs than usual with your printer, even if you're printing regularly. Now, if you have trouble controlling the humidity in your space, so like let's say, so mine is sitting at 52 right now, let's say I can't get it any better for some reason, then I would probably print more often. So I always say to print every 1 to 2 weeks, especially if you have a converted Epson EcoTank printer. But even with the F170, I try to print every week or 2. But if I had a high humidity environment and was having issues, I would probably print even more often. Or a low humidity issue in my space, I would probably print more often, keep those print heads running. Now, those are printer issues. But high humidity can also cause issues when you go to press. So if you don't have a full sublimation image, you see splotches, it looks like in areas it's just sort of faded in a few areas, could definitely be humidity. So the pre-press is very important to make sure you pre-press and remove any moisture from your blank. However, it could be moisture in your paper. So make sure that you're allowing that print to dry enough once it comes out. And if the humidity is higher now, say in the summer, than it usually is in your home, you might have to let that print dry even longer. Or like I said, invest in something like a dehumidifier to remove that humidity from the air in your crafting space or in your home. So if any of these issues come up and it's not fully sublimating, all of a sudden you're seeing splotches that aren't sublimating, definitely check that humidity and ensure that both your blank and your print are as dry as possible when you start to press. And that should help you be successful with sublimation. So now you know, check that humidity, keep your blanks, paper, and your printer stored in the correct location so they have that optimal temperature and hopefully optimal humidity wherever they're stored or wherever they're kept, and you're not drying out your printer with a fan or even an air vent. So hopefully this helps you. Those of you that are struggling with pizza wheel marks, I see you, and blotches on your paper from those print heads, definitely check into getting a gauge to measure humidity and seeing how humid it is in your home. And even if you're not having issues, the gauges are super inexpensive. It is a really good investment to go ahead and get that. And that way, when an issue comes up, like all of a sudden one day, 3 weeks from now, you're getting pizza wheel marks, you can check that gauge really quickly and see if you think it is related to humidity, and then decide for yourself how you want to proceed. Some of these issues can be extremely frustrating because you don't know how to correct them. And if it is humidity, the only way to correct them would be either storage issues or dehumidifying your home or somehow removing some of the moisture from the air. So hopefully this helped you. If it did, give us a thumbs up. If you have any questions about sublimation printing in general or sublimation printing and humidity, please ask those in the comment section below. And if you haven't already, head on over to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. We have videos just like this one every single week, and trust me, you don't want to miss any of those. So thank you all so much for joining me. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.